Once upon a time, I wanted to have a huge library at home. Well, I don't want that anymore. Hey, what's up? My name is Daniela and welcome to a new video. This video is yet another unhaul because I just love them that much, and also I'm planning to move, hopefully in the near future. So I took an even harder look at my shelves and imagine if I actually want to physically move all these books. And I don't. And lately I've been really getting into curating my book collection so that I only keep books that I love, I want to reread, or that I'm really excited to read. I just love how dynamic my book collection is these days. Some books are coming in and some I'm sending to the next reader to enjoy. And I keep evaluating the shelves to make sure that every single book is there intentionally. So yeah, this is probably more than enough for the intro, so let's get into the unhaul. So the first book I got rid of was a book that I actually had a pretty hard time parting with for some reason. And it was Illuminated by J. Christoph and Amy Kaufman. So I thought that this book was pretty good, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it and I don't know if I want to continue with the series. And the fact that I haven't read the rest of the series was one of the reasons why I was holding on to it. Also, I really enjoyed the mixed format of it, and visually it was stunning, but that's not a sufficient reason for me to keep books. So it's actually already out of my house because I decided to try and sell some of these books, but a girl who wanted to buy this book was actually selling some books herself, so I picked a book from her selection and I got The Cruel Prince by Holly Black in exchange. It doesn't have a dust jacket, but I don't mind that much. I really like the white dust jacket, but I don't like having to deal with dust jackets, so it's for the best probably. Also, I don't know if I'm going to be keeping this book after I read it. I have heard mixed reviews. This is not a book haul, but in case you don't know, this is a young adult fantasy with fairies, and I wouldn't get out of my way to get this book, but this was pretty convenient, so yeah. I think I'm going to give it a try. One of the reasons I decided to sell some of these books this time instead of just donating them to the library as usual is one, well, obviously it's nice to get a little bit of money to buy new books or whatever. And second, some of these books I'm unhauling this time are quite popular, so there's a higher chance someone would be interested in them. And that's definitely the case for the next two books, which are what I talk about when I talk about Running and After Dark by Haruki Murakami. So this is the Czech edition of his non-fiction book about running, writing and his life in general. I have read it and I quite enjoyed it, but I'm not planning to reread this anytime soon, and if I want to reread it in the future I can always get it from the library. I used to really love his books and I don't hate them now, I'm just not that interested in rereading them or reading the new ones. So these are the two last books I own by him and I feel okay with not owning any of them anymore. And the second book by him I'm getting rid of is After Dark, as I said. This is a really strange story from one night in Tokyo. I would recommend it if you're interested in Murakami. I recently reread it in December, I think, for my rereading project, and it was still 5 stars. I'm probably not going to reread it for some time or ever, so it can go for now. Speaking of really popular authors, we have The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. So I know that this book is really unpopular on BookTube. I think I haven't heard anyone liking this book. Like, all of the people I heard talking about this have either DNF'd it or didn't like it, so I really liked it. It's true that I read it several years ago and at the time I wasn't really critical. This book deals with a lot of heavy topics like drugs abuse, child abuse, and it's set in a small town where one of the members of the local council dies and people start to fight for his place, so there's a lot of intrigues, blackmailing, and I really liked how authentically this book portrayed the uglier side of small towns. The bottom line is that I really enjoyed it and I would recommend it, but I don't want to reread it, so I'm going to send it to someone else. Okay, next we have A Darker Shade of Magic by V. Schwab. If you've seen my video on my struggle with finishing series, you know that I have been debating whether or not to continue with this series But the fact is that I probably won't reread this one. Also, they don't have the sequels in the library, but they got this one, so that's a backup plan, and for now, this just doesn't spark joy, you know. With the next book, I kind of surprised even myself because it's A God of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. So originally I didn't expect to like this series at all, but I gave it a try, and the second book made me fall in love with the series, and then I read the third one and I liked it and everything was fine, but then this book came around and it kind of made me doubt everything. I would be fine with the fact that there is no plot in this novella, and I would be happy to just spend some more time with the characters, but I didn't like what became of the characters, especially Recent, because he's such an interesting character in the previous volumes, and in this one, literally his only thought is how to get into Feyre again, so basically this book took everything that was not so great in the previous volumes and amplified it, so the sex scenes were super cringy. Basically the sex scenes in this one became like the new standard for me for being cringy. Now that I read a book with sex in it, I think, wow, this is really good, because it's not as cringy as A God of Frost and Starlight, so yay. Because like, the sex had destroyed me, utterly ruined me. The weird thing is that I still gave it 4 stars, which I should probably lower to 3 stars. But as I said, there's no plot, so I won't be missing out on anything if I decide to continue with the new series. But yeah, this book made me see the whole series in a new and not so flattering look, so I kind of resented for it. But according to KonMari, you shouldn't part with things with negative emotions, so you know what? Thank you, book, for being here with me for this time. I got some enjoyment out of you, and yeah, have a safe trip. That was weird. Next I have 2 books about the Harry Potter world, so I have The Magical World of Harry Potter and Harry Potter and Philosophy. I've had both of these for ages and I enjoyed them at that time, but I don't need them anymore, plus they are in Czech, and now I'm finally reading the whole series in English, so if I read something like this again, it would be in English. The second to last book in this unhaul is Zoeys World by Justine Garder. So this is a really stunning Czech edition of this book. It is a young adult summary plus a story which explains the basis of philosophy, and it's really fun, it's interesting, I enjoyed it. But I'm not planning on rereading this anytime soon or ever, so I can get rid of it now. Okay, and the last book, I'm actually not 100% decided, but you might think that it's weird that I'm considering getting rid of one of my favorite books of last year, but it has a reason. So the book I'm talking about is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. As I said, I loved this book and I loved Daisy Jones and the Six, maybe even more than this, and I absolutely want to read everything Taylor Jenkins Reid has written, but I really don't like this edition, like the paperback, how it like, well, you see it. How it's not like to the edge, why do they do this? And also the hardcover picture is just much more beautiful. But the more valid reason is that I had the pleasure of attending my friend's wedding celebration in a few weeks. She has married her girlfriend and we're going to celebrate that, and I thought that they could both enjoy this story. So I think it's going to be a part of my gift, because I would love more people to read Taylor Jenkins Reid because she's amazing. Okay, so these are all the books I'm unhauling this time. Let me know what are your thoughts about getting rid of books. Do you like it, and do you like watching unhauls? Have you read any of these books? You can leave that or any other comment in the comment section. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you feel so inclined. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!